Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. That is Jack. I am Conrad, and this is the Footy 5 Euro 2021 predictor. We've got UEFA.com's nifty predictor app up here. It's going to help us to get from the group stages to the round of 16, quarterfinals, semifinals, finals, and our best guess. And where we can't agree, we have a Euro coin that will be the arbitrator of all things. The decision of the coin is binding. We will go with it, and we will be wrong.
And we will flip the coin every time, and that's how we will predict.
On debates, not necessarily.
Yeah.
I think there's some pretty clear. Not like we're going to end up with Wales first in Group A.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
I don't think there's any question Italy is going to take. They've got a lot of proving to do. Yeah. They've made a lot of changes.
This is an interesting group, but I think Italy are head and shoulders above others. They need to rebound from a very disappointing 2018. Didn't even qualify for the World Cup. One of the biggest disappointments in recent memory. Haven't lost since the World Cup happened.
Like 10 straight or something like that.
More than that, I can imagine, because there's at least 10 in qualifying.
I mean, like non. Yeah, I was thinking like non.
They've played a lot of matches, and they've won a lot, and they've been very successful. I think they're one of my favorites to win the tournament, let alone get out of the group.
I think second here is Turkey. We debated this one a little bit. I think they're just really, really good. Mm-hmm. I think they got a really fortunate draw. You know, if they put them in that group of death, sorry guys, not going to happen. Mm-hmm. But I don't think the coefficients would allow that to happen. But
yeah, I mean, this is really one that's pretty almost wide open after Italy, because I imagine Italy will get 7-9 points, and it's just a case of, can you beat each other in the head-to-heads? I know there's only 3 matches, so that's a very dumb statement to make. It's like just win 1 or 2 matches and you get through. But I think Turkey have got the quality to do some serious damage this tournament.
I think they can take. Switzerland is a question mark for me, but I think they could take out both of those.
They have some.
They
have some decent bones. They can definitely beat Wales. I think be a challenge for Switzerland. If you get 4 points, you're feeling good for second, let alone third. So I think second's a comfortable spot for them, and I think we've gone back and forth on third. Switzerland versus Wales.
Turkey also have the guy with the greatest name in the entire tournament. I think Okay Yukuzlu, the guy from West Brom. I mean, your first name is Okay. How can you end up as a great footballer? You're just okay. Terrible. So this is probably going to be a coin flip of Switzerland or Wales for third. Jack had Wales third. I had Switzerland third.
I've
gone back and forth on this one so many times. I think Switzerland's probably the midfield. I think for me is what makes the difference. Wales, obviously, without Giggs as their head man, he's got some issues that he's trying to work through. Wales has a ton of talent. Do you know Joe Allen was still playing for Wales?
Well, shabby. I didn't realize he was still playing, though.
But, I mean, they've got Bale. Is he going to be enough? They've got some individual bright spots. Is that going to be enough to get them through, into third? I mean, are they going to end up being one of the best third-place slots, I guess?
I mean, I go back and forth because the individual talent could get you one win, which Portugal, you think back to the 2016 Euros, they won just 1 match in the group stage, finished third, ended up qualifying through that format, going all the way to the final. But I think it's an interesting group, one of my favorites actually, because there's going to be some good matches every match day. But I think this is how we're feeling on this one. It's going to be interesting though.
All right, Group B, Russia, Belgium, Denmark, and Finland. Denmark is an interesting club here. I think even given all of Belgium's challenges with KDB being hurt and them just not quite taking advantage of the golden generation they have, they're the class of the group, no question.
Mm-hmm. They have a lot of talent. They've got some players doing really well. Denmark, they host all 3 of their group stage matches, which I think is going to be the edge. They already had, I think, a bit more talent than Russia and Finland, but I think with the added benefit of the home,
it makes a humongous difference.
Especially,
only 12,000 fans. We recorded a video on that. You should go check it out. Subscribe now. It's going to be fun. I don't see them dropping that many points at home.
I think they get at least 1 win. I think a win and a draw, and I think Belgium take maximum points. So I think that 2 is a very good spot for them, and I think I'm pretty comfortable putting Russia in third because they have a few small pieces as well. And Finland, just
sorry guys,
I don't want to say filling out the numbers, but definitely a little less talent than other clubs.
The betting odds don't like them at all, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're the same boat as Wales, I think. I think Russia has a shot at being one of the top 4 teams. Top 4 third-place teams, I should say.
Yes.
Not top 4 teams.
I think if you go back to the group really quick, my big decider for if a group is going to have a third place is, do you have a stinker at the bottom who's not going to try and take any points? Like a team that gets 2 points, you're never going to get through. Yeah. Like you're never getting through. And I think that Finland might get 0 points, 1 point maybe. They take a point off of Denmark.
They're not North Macedonia questionable, but in this group, And again, this isn't a super strong group. I mean, there's a lot of distance between Belgium and the rest of the second place finish.
I have questions about Belgium to win the tournament, but not in this group.
Yeah, agreed. All right, Austria, North Macedonia, Ukraine, and the Netherlands.
This is the weakest group in my eyes.
I think we're so unclear of how good the Netherlands are going to be because they've not been in a major tournament since 2014, as we talked about. They missed Euros multiple times, missed the World Cup last time around. But I think
they're hosting matches, aren't they?
they've got enough. I think they've got 2 at home.
Yeah.
Oh, no, they've got all 3 at home. They're one of the all 3 at home.
Yeah, I was pretty sure that they have those in Amsterdam. No.
In the Netherlands. I'm not sure whether they're playing Ajax's home stadium or if they're playing it.
We're 2 Americans trying to appropriate all of Europe for our liking, but
I think Austria comes in second here. Macedonia, I can't see North Macedonia. They're going to get a goose egg.
I
they
think,
beat Germany 2-1.
But Germany, they have their own problems, I think.
It's because Germany just ship goals for fun these days.
Yeah, I think Netherlands, they are a struggling team. I don't see them going too far in the tournament, but I think that this is not a strong group. I think they will get 7 points maybe. I think Austria gets 7 as well.
Not a lot of faith in Ukraine here.
Not a lot of faith at all. I could get proven wrong, but I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan. I think that North Macedonia will offer that group to be another one where a 4th or 3rd place team can get out of it.
So Group D: Scotland, England, Croatia, Czechoslovakia. Czech Republic. Sorry. That didn't sound right as soon as it came out of my mouth. The implications here with the finishing order is important, right? If England, it's almost like they want to finish second because that way they would avoid then playing the 3rd place in the group of death, which is likely to be either Germany or Portugal.
So basically the way it happens is the winner of Group D faces the runner-up in Group F. So the runner-up in Group F is Hungary, one of France, Germany, Portugal. Right. 3 very good sides. You'd probably be hoping for Germany to finish in second there, but it's likely going to be Portugal in our eyes, at least. A bit of a preview for that pick. Scotland, if they were to finish in second place, would face the runner-up in the next group we're going to preview. So keep that in mind when we look at the next group of who the second place team could potentially face versus the last group. So I think England is a safe bet for first.
Unless they decide to rest everybody. They take full 6, good goal difference, and they're like, oh, we're going to rest our players. They're feeling kind of tired.
Do Croatia get up to that many points? I don't know. I think I've gone back and forth. I think I'm going to lean again to your judgment from your original picks and say Croatia second, but I'm going to have to force Scotland third because
Czech Republic and Scotland are the ones we're arguing about.
Because I think the thing
I think I'm agreeing with you on Scotland.
Because Scotland played Czech Republic first tournament match in 23 years at home. I don't think it's at home actually. I think it's in closer to Scotland than it is Czech Republic. So it's going to be a major boost in that sense. And I just think that they get the 3 points against the Czech Republic, win that head-to-head, and it doesn't matter if you get 0 against Croatia and England. I think they could take points off of both sides because they just got that mentality. It's a good locker room. It's a group that is like happy to be here because they have not been here into the stage for a very, very long time. So they've got some small pieces. They got Robertson at left wing back, Tierney's playing as a center back, McTominay, Gilmore, McGinn as a midfield trio in the Premier League.
McTominay's played center back in this for that club, for that side.
It's going to be interesting. I think they win the head against Czech Republic. I think England win the head against Croatia. And I'm pretty.
England Scotland's like the longest running football rivalry.
That could be. I think England take that match, and then at that point they shoehorn themselves into first place because if you beat Croatia and you beat Scotland, I don't think your Czech Republic are getting 9 points somehow to knock you off of first place. So it's going to be a bit of an odd spot for England where you may win first place, yay, but they may actually
round of 16 you get bounced. This is why they could be an underachiever in this tournament. Yeah. I don't know, but all right, Group E: Poland, Spain, Sweden, Slovakia. I don't have a lot of conviction around Spain. But again, I think it's their benefit of being in this group.
Mm-hmm. I think it's Spain, Poland, Sweden, Slovakia. I think it's not that too tough.
You don't have Sweden in the bottom?
No, I go back and forth. They did
give them no points.
Somehow they managed to. It's gonna be like 9-9-1-1.
The Euro.
How did you manage to lose the Euro? It was on the desk.
I lost the Euro.
Oh, there it is. All right, so resurfaced itself. All right. Just because of lack of European knowledge from Americans, we flipped the coin. So what is it? Heads is Sweden, tails is... All right, heads will be Sweden.
All right. That's really nice.
That was really loud.
Heads it is.
So heads means Sweden finished in third. Congratulations, Sweden. You finished in third. Do they get the points? That's also a really tough one because I don't know.
I don't think they're going to be a top third place side.
Yeah, that's tough because
we'll come back to that in a second.
I can imagine Spain do smack them around a bit. Poland might smack them around a little bit too. I think Lewandowski is going to have one of his big tournaments. He hasn't really had one yet.
I mean, coming off what he did in the Bundesliga, he could be your Golden Boot winner. You just got to get 4 or 5 in the group stage and then get 1 in the round of 16.
Exactly.
And,
This is the most.
This is ridiculous. Like how this happened.
Germany have done so poorly.
Well, they are leaky. I mean, they concede a lot of goals right now, and that is not characteristic of that international side.
Yeah, I think they're going to be a side to be reckoned with in the knockout stage if they make it that far, but I think France are very comfortable first. A lot of parallels being drawn to the 1998
and 2000 double
that they did, where 98 winning the World Cup and 2000 winning the Euros. I think this is a very similar group in that sense. They've gotten a lot more attacking talent since that 2018 group.
I mean, N'Golo Kante is playing out of his mind. He could be player.
I mean, and almost even more important than Kante being very good is Paul Pogba, when he has a competent midfielder next to him, is unbelievably good. Like Manchester United, take some freaking notes. Just get a good defensive mid next to Pogba, and you fix all your problems.
Anyway, let's not talk about that.
Anyways, yeah. I think France is very comfortable first. Our favorites for the tournament. I think Portugal in second because it's not just Ronaldo and co. It's a lot of good players. A lot of good players.
I'll play for Wolves.
They also have a lot of good players. Oh yeah, and they also happen to have Ronaldo. So I'm really excited to see Portugal. I think that it's going to be Germany smack around Hungary, maybe get some points off of Portugal and France, but they really need to avoid conceding a lot because if it comes down to a 3-pointer versus 3-pointer versus 3-pointer, they need to not have conceded as many goals as the other sides, or else they are going to be looking. And also, when you play Hungary, like we should mention them really quick. No Dominic Soberslai from Leipzig is a big loss. He's a really, really good young player, but he's injured. So it's tough without him. That he was one of their shining hopes. He carried them to the tournament, and then now he's obviously out. So I imagine 0 points for them, honestly. And Germany,
I can't see them. They don't have the quality to pull anything off of these guys.
Yeah. So best 4-place teams is going to be really tough.
Germany, no question.
But I don't know if it's a no question. Because
against those guys,
no. But the issue
it's going to be
the issue isn't it
down to goal difference, right?
Is
if they're on points?
Are they taking a point off of Portugal or France? I don't think they are. And so the question you have to ask yourself is: do they get smacked around by those two sides, which are so scoring? Like, do they give up 3-4 goals and they have like a -5 goal difference? We'll come back to them. I think we'll have them checked for now. I think I agree on Scotland. Right, I want to push Scotland. I think Switzerland, Scotland, and I'll pull up the general groups.
Russia, of the.
I agree.
That remaining three.
I agree. We both had Russia, I believe, going through. Actually, no, you had. I had Ukraine. You had Russia. I'll go with you on Russia. So I think this is pretty comfortable. I have questions.
We had Sweden getting no points, and we had Ukraine not doing all that well.
Yeah.
I think Germany will outperform. They'll get. They have to get 4.
If they get 4 points, they'll go through. Do they get 4 points? I don't know, because I think Scotland are in the 3-point boat. I think Russia maybe are in the 3-point boat. So it's going to be really interesting once you get into it. So I'm really excited. That's going to be one of the more interesting parts is the weirdness on. There's only 4 teams that qualify as a 3rd-place side, and that's going to lead to some really weird matchups like Belgium, Scotland. Belgium feels pretty good about this.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's
Scotland, great tournament.
Sorry,
you
guys,
qualified, but I think Belgium.
Pretty nice.
Their golden generation questions don't get asked until the quarterfinals.
And then you end up look at that Italy, Belgium, Italy, potentially in that.
I think Italy. I think we should mention. Just don't just be like, all right, yeah, Austria gave no chance. I don't think they have a chance though. I think Italy are very, very comfortable favorites in this one.
Oh yeah.
I think they're one of my favorites for the tournament, as I've already mentioned. So
you tried to call them a dark horse. They're not a dark horse.
Yeah, a dark horse.
They're a longer shot than Belgium or France or England.
Yeah, so they're not like one. They're not one of the
plus top 540 versus 460.
They're not one of the top 3 favorites, but I think they're probably one of the best bets if you like want to be kind of confident in your money. But don't take this from me because again, American, don't really understand Europe.
Oh, sure we do.
We understand Europe, but
France, Russia.
That would be the most remarkable upset ever if Russia knocked off France. That would be amazing. And this, I think, is one of the most interesting parts. I mean, Croatia aren't a bad side, but them
no Modric, right?
Them finishing second in their group gets them Poland. Think about it. Croatia is in the group with England, finishing second. So they were beaten by England in the group stage, and their reward, or I guess their curse, what's the word for something bad that happens to you?
Yeah, it's a no good deed goes unpunished kind of situation, right? It's like,
and they face Poland. That's a tough one because I think Croatia stumbled into the tournament. Poland, they got a really good player in Lewandowski.
They got Rakitic, no Modric, right? Or do I have that backwards?
You might have that backwards.
No, they got Modric, no Rakitic.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I really don't know here. This is, I think, a coin toss one, not because of disagreement, but I really just think it's a very close one.
I think Poland. I think Lewandowski is gonna.
If you believe in Poland, then I'll go with you on Poland. Yeah, we don't need to pull out the Euro again. But yeah, and I think Spain have a very comfortable draw here.
Yeah, lucky them.
I think finishing first in their group benefits them with one of the thirds.
Killer round of 16 matchup.
I mean, if you're England,
it's Portugal or Germany is who England plays.
Look,
if they win the group,
and that is tough because even Germany, I'm not feeling too good. Like this one, I think you could go back and forth for a long time on, but 15 of England's players in their squad, so all but 11, have not played an international match, a competitive international match.
They're very young.
They're very young, very exciting group.
But so is Portugal.
Golden generation.
Yeah, Portugal are not all that. I mean, granted, they won the Euros last time around.
You think about
5 years ago now.
Yeah, each side has a manager who had some success in the last few years. You can argue Southgate. He got to the semifinals of the World Cup. That's success. They have a talismanic player in Kane versus Ronaldo, surrounding them by some pretty young new players, some fresh blood.
Strong wings.
But the difference is your talismanic player is Cristiano Ronaldo, one of the biggest trophy winners in history of club football, versus Harry Kane. Here. I think you have to take Portugal. Because I don't want
to make this a coin flip.
I think Henderson not being fully fit, Maguire not being fully fit makes their defensive problems even more magnified.
Don't get me wrong.
I think Portugal have far more security in many areas. Ruben Diaz times Pepe at the back. You have the incredible athleticism of Diaz with the experience of Pepe. You've just got so much talent in that squad.
Mourinho called him that.
I mean, their midfield trio is going to have William Carvalho and the guy from Danilo Pereira from PSG. Some great defensive steel there. Bruno Fernandes, Ronaldo. They were going to have João Felix.
I can't believe we're going to pick Portugal.
Bernardo Silva. And look, it's not a slate in England. I think that Portugal are just a step above.
They're just really, really good. All right, Netherlands, Germany. Another interesting one. I think to your point earlier, it's like if they get out of the group, they're dangerous in round of 16 because you just got to get one more. And it's no longer the situation of Gary Lineker's, 90 minutes, 22 guys run around kicking a ball, and at the end the Germans win. That's not the case here.
I think Germany takes this one though. Yeah, personally, because I think Netherlands without Van de Beek, without Van Dijk, without a coherent system heading into the World Cup. The Euros. I worry about them. Frank de Boer is not filming with confidence. Low for Germany. It's his last hurrah.
Go round, yeah.
And I think this is going to be a win for them. This, I think, is one of the most fascinating.
I like Denmark a lot. I think they can. I think it's Denmark, and I think they are a dark horse. I really like that team. They're not tremendously deep, but the guys that they throw out there. I mean, Schmeichel is pretty confident back there, coming off the season he had with Leicester. Christensen, I mean, they're just... Vestergaard had a great season. Delaney and Højbjerg in the midfield.
I think this one's in Amsterdam as well, if I'm not mistaken. So that's Group A. That's Group B.
Denmark's not Denmark. That's Amsterdam is in Netherlands.
Copenhagen, Amsterdam are the same thing in my head.
It's the third time he's gotten this confused.
Anyways, I haven't mentioned Burak Yilmaz from Lille, was one of the leading scorers in the league, was a big reason why they won the title. 35 years old, very experienced forward for them. He's a good player. I think Turkey have a very interesting side.
Turkey is very... We had them second.
And I think this is going to be the dark horse spot. Turkey-Denmark, I think, is a match I'm very confident in seeing in the round of 16. And it's a pretty no-brainer that whichever side wins is the better dark horse because they'll go a bit further. But I think this is the avenue through. because I think Germany are going to get to this stage, and I think I'll agree with you that Denmark will. And then we can just jump to that matchup right there.
Germany loves this.
I think this is Germany love it, yes, but so do Denmark. If you were to face a powerhouse, you want to face Germany
the weakest
nowadays.
of them.
I think that it's tough. I think Germany, if they make it this far, they're not like, wow, I'm a piano on top of a house. How did I get here?
They're gonna crank it up.
I'm going to crank it up. I think Germany get through, and I think the end that there. I think it's not a case of...
If you don't like England, you can't like Spain.
And that's what I was going to say. I was going to say England are better than Spain. If Portugal are better than England, they're better than Spain. I think that England would be a tougher matchup for Portugal, so I think that they would have a good time against Spain. So I'm pretty confident in saying that they're just a bit of an edge there. And I think Poland being here is a bit of a surprise to get this far, but I think it's hard to go against France. Yeah. I think France are just too good. This is a really tough one, I think.
This is potentially the match of the entire tournament, I think, is just, Italy has this reputation of being this defensively minded team, and they're not that. They're much more open and attacking than they've been in a long, long time. And Belgium are just questionable. Like, I think maybe not the match of the tournament, but this is super intriguing.
I would argue the very next one, which the winner of this facing France would be a bit better. But because I think France's every of their matches is going to be pretty interesting because they're always very well drilled. So I think if not now, when for Belgium? KDB is not going to be at this level in 2 years. I'm comfortable saying that.
Next year.
Actually, that's very true. I revised that statement. KDB in 1 year versus 2 years is a very big difference.
And who knows how well he's going to be playing. He's got the facial fracture he just had surgery on.
So they have a lot of talent. A lot of talent. So do Italy.
The question is, do you trust Roberto Martinez as your...
Is he still the Belgian manager?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes. That's what gives me pause. Sure. It's like I don't have a whole lot of confidence that he's going to get it tactically right.
Wow.
It's side as well drilled as Italy is.
Why do I think that Roberto Martinez... Is he not on Champions League coverage?
Yeah,
he is. Okay, he is on CBS Champions League coverage, but he's also a club or a nation coach.
I'm having a hard time not taking Italy here.
As am I, but I don't know. I'm actually going to back Belgium, I think. I think that they're just the raw world-class talent. Hazard's going to have a good tournament, I think. I think De Bruyne's going to be back fit at this point. I think Lukaku's going to have a good tournament.
Lukaku had played out of his mind, but how much of that was down to Antonio Conte getting the most out of him?
I don't believe a ton in Roberto Martinez, but I'm back and forth. If you want to flip the coin, we can, but I don't think we can at this point.
I don't feel comfortable with that.
No. Yeah, I think I'm happy saying Belgium here. I think it's going to be a very close match, one of the better matches. And this is another tough one because at this point, if you've made it this far, for Belgium, like, you're showing up pretty well. So I think, I don't know. Belgium, France. How are you feeling?
France. They're too good.
I worry being so confident in a side. I always think about March Madness in America. Like when one team's very good and you're like, oh, it's just such an easy
knockout. Once you get a knockout stage,
it's
wacky.
It's so tough. It's a low scoring game as well. I'll back you with France. I'm not confident, but I'm backing you.
No, I hate that. Like, I do not like that matchup at all.
So this one I think is very fascinating as well. But I think Portugal.
Germany's shocked to get I'm shocked Germany's gotten this far.
We've picked these. How are you? I think Portugal here.
Yeah, I agree.
I think Germany, great run. Portugal, more talent, better disciplined team. And at the end of the day, that's what it's going to come down to. It's going to be a rematch of the 2018 Euros, which I think would be very fascinating. So
it wasn't 5 years ago, it was 3 years ago. No, 2016 Euros. 2018 was a World Cup year.
What is my brain right now?
It was in Amsterdam.
No, it wasn't. I'm not gonna fall for that. France, Portugal as our final.
For the big trophy.
That's not a big trophy. I can fit it in the palm of my hand. Look, I mean, I there's not much analysis you can make on France because they're just so freaking good in every position. I think it's a lazy pick, but it's like,
God, how did we end up with France?
But it's like what are we doing this for? Are we doing this to be edgy? Are we doing this to be like, oh wow, we really are giant football minds. We watch the tactics of these sides.
France wins.
France
plus 460.
France have Deschamps as their manager. He's a pretty good manager. He's competent. Santos is good for Portugal too, but they have so much talent,
ridiculous.
And it's all peaking together in every spot.
And like Olivier Giroud.
If they deal with an injury or two, either side. Who's more protected for it. If
France
there's an
has more depth, I think.
injury in the defensive area for Portugal, some questions might open up a little bit. Versus for France, I mean, they could have a few players get not fit, a few injury problems, and I mean, like if you lose Mbappe, if you lost a player of Mbappe's caliber for like a Poland losing Lewandowski, had Sweden had Zlatan, if you had lost one of your talismanic players like Mbappe is for France, you're replacing with Ousmane Dembele, Wissam Ben Yedder. Like it's so much talent, it's unbelievable. It's a bit of a lazy pick, but I think it's the easy one.
Well, that'll do it for our predictions. We only had to use the Euro once. We will retire it until the next time we have to need an arbitrator of independent nature. Jack, Conrad, this has been the 45. Please let us know what you think in the comments. Let us know if we're lazy to pick this way. Look for us on the Twitter at the 45. Take care now.